Hi, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Hotter, Older, Wiser. I'm your co-host, Pam Rodriguez.
And I'm your other co-host, Alessandra Rodriguez Curiel.
For today's episode, we were just really thinking on what is the number one thing my sister and I are probably talking about more often than not. And it's social media, plastic surgery, deciding if this girl's on Ozempic or not. That's pretty much what our day-to-day consists of. And so we decided to kind of give our own personal take on it, but also just be very transparent on just the kind of work we've gotten done, our why, and just give the unsolicited advice that really nobody's asked for. But I think will provide some mental health, maybe.
So here we are, the plastics.
Truly. And on Wednesdays, we wear pink. Oh, you are wearing pink. Okay, so I think I'll start off with like the biggest factor when it's come to any decision I've personally made when it comes to plastic surgery. Mm-hmm. And I think one of the biggest things to consider is, what is your why?
Yep.
Is it, because I think this is where the line starts to get a little bit blurry, even for me too, that I think I have I think I have a good head on my shoulders, and I think I obviously take my mental health seriously. I go to therapy, I do all these things. Mm-hmm. But I think when I thought back to why I've gotten what I've gotten done, mm-hmm. and it really stems from things that I've been insecure about on my own, not due to social media, not due to anything else, just due to things that I have not been comfortable with growing up.
Yeah.
And
before social media.
Exactly. Because I also will say, I'm a millennial. So I think my very early stages weren't really surrounded by social media, Instagram, TikTok, all these different things that has helped nobody, honestly. Yeah. But I think that's definitely a big important factor. But I also am going to preface this that those things even the things I've gotten done, yes, they help, but they don't fix you. I think that's the other part, that people just assume, oh, okay, I'm going to get my boobs done, I'm going to get my nose done, and things will be just...
You automatically feel confident,
Yes, that things are just going to magically change overnight. I really don't think
that's the external work that you're doing. There's also internal.
Exactly. But again, kind of going back to the why, because I think a lot of times now, especially women who are on social media all the time.
Kids growing up, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I could even kind of see it myself, things I never even thought about that I start noticing. One, just because you're looking at yourself more. That's the other part, okay? You're definitely being hyper aware of every little thing, every little wrinkle, every little just fucking crevice on your face.
I mean, and when you're on TikTok and stuff, and beauty products are constantly being fed to you, use this anti-wrinkle remover, this Medicube device, this pore reducing thing.
But before even to the products, you're seeing all these beautiful women on fucking TikTok, and you're like, what the hell? Things that...
What am I not doing right? What am I doing wrong?
Exactly. So that's why I think that's a whole other separate can of worms, mm-hmm. where you're very easily influenced, which is the whole point of being an influencer. But I think being very mindful of the reason that you're getting it. Okay? Yeah. So I think that's a big focus. Obviously, there's more things that I want to talk about, but I think that's my number one.
Yeah, if you're sad or going through a breakup,
okay, that's the other
that, do not be doing these things.
Yeah, this is not you're changing your hair color. I think that's another point. I was actually going to talk about this later too, but I do think you have to be in the right mental space.
Yeah.
To make a decision like this, because yes, it's definitely not you're just changing an outfit. You're not just painting your nails. This is truly at the end of the day, it is a serious surgery. You are going under the knife. You are going under anesthesia.
Yeah, there are complications that can happen.
Agree. And you also have to be prepared for things to go wrong. Okay. That's the aftermath of all of this. But all research. To be exactly. Yeah, definitely do your research. But definitely, I would say be in the right mental headspace. And also, I think there's a time component. If you suddenly start, again, because the things that we've gotten done have been things that we've been insecure about our whole lives. Yeah. So then when we finally could pay for it, we're going to do it. Yep. But I think there's the other time component of if it's something that you just randomly started talking about, give yourself some time to actually think about why you're doing it.
What triggered that? What was that inciting incident?
And how long after, once you are back to being in a happier state, is it still something you really want?
Was it for you or was it for them? You know?
Because a lot of times it's are you doing it? I think a big thing I've been trying to be more mindful of is if I were living my life without social media, without other people having a say on how I look, would I really care that much about it? Yeah. And I think it comes from social media. It could also come from your partner. I think that's a big one. I think if you're with a guy that's very superficial and just likes a certain aesthetic, and you very clearly know you're not that aesthetic, you want to try and fit that mold. So I think there's also that repercussion of it.
There's like layers to that, because it's like, you know, when it's like that classic argument of like the guy likes a brunette versus a blonde, and then the girl is like, okay, I'm gonna go dark hair, but this is like actually
Been there, done that.
that's on a minor scale versus actually going under the knife. So your intent of why you're doing things needs to be solely based on yourself. I think for both of us, when we were considering and contemplating the whole plastic surgery thing, it had been things that I was insecure about since I was like 12, 13, like middle school days. And social media, Instagram was like popping off in high school for me. So going into it, I was like, oh, this is something I've wanted for like 10 plus years. But I definitely gave myself the time, and it wasn't like post breakup or anything. So,
And also, don't go to everybody for advice. Like, especially when it comes to something, for example, getting your boobs done. There's so many different sizes you can do. There's so many different things you can do. Being very careful to form your own opinion on something before you go out and seek other people's advice, because I think that's another component. Because I can like speak of my own personal experience when I did get my boobs done. And I think a lot of people had something to say of just the size, or if they're small, or whatever the case is. And so I think that's something that I had to be very careful of really just
other people's opinions on like what you should do.
And I honestly did not ask.
Yeah.
I mean, I was single at that point.
Yeah.
So I wasn't going to a partner to be like, oh, what size do you like? Do you like this size? Do you think this is better?
And it shouldn't be based on.
It shouldn't be based on anybody else. And the very last, I know I'm literally going on a tangent, but the very last thing, because I did get my boobs done not clearly, but I did, because I just said it. I think a big thing for us is just cultural influence, which I also want to talk about.
Oh, being Latinas.
We are Hispanic, okay? And so that is...
It's almost like being Hispanic. It's almost like
a rite of passage.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
I hate to say that. Yeah. But it's like, oh, part of the club now. Like, unfortunately. But I feel like growing up, there is that heavy influence of like, you see, it's what you're growing up with. It's what you're seeing.
Yeah. Not unfortunately, if it makes you happy, but I do think it's interesting that there's just a higher percentage when it comes to Latinas. South American culture, because of it, like our mom got hers done. It's just part of that. So I do think, I don't want to undermine that part, because I think like subconsciously, I'm sure that played a factor.
Yeah.
Because we just grew up. I mean, I literally see my moms and like their boobs are perfect. Exactly. And it's like, oh, I want that standard
for me.
And again, that could be wrong, because that could be like, again, it's probably what I'm hinting at with social media and all these things. Yeah. So I am definitely keeping myself, I'm conscious, and I'm keeping myself in check and being honest.
Yeah.
With that infiltration slightly.
I think when it comes to plastic surgery, like my biggest thing going into it, my whole job is studying anatomy and proportions. So I knew that whatever I was going to do, I didn't want to go balls to wall. Like, I know because of my job how much a little like movement can do for your face, for the overall like balance of it. So I knew I wasn't going to go crazy. So I shaved off a little bit here. I got my boobs
augmented.
That's such a weird word. Got my boobs augmented, but it's nothing like not grotesque.
Extreme.
It's nothing extreme. Like, it fits within my body frame.
It's proportionate.
Yeah, it feels good. Like, it's not like these two balloons that have now been put on my chest that I can't breathe. Like, that's when it starts, in my eyes, being an issue, because you know that girl doesn't want to have back problems for the rest of her life. Like, that doesn't seem natural. Not that any of it is natural. But also when celebrities start doing all these cosmetic surgeries and not being honest about it.
Wait, hold on. Before you get to that, because I have a lot to say there.
Yeah, that one's like my biggest one.
But so before we get there, because I think that's probably going to be the longest segment.
Okay.
Is what you're getting at, that there is just a natural balance to it, I think is a very big call out.
Please be proportionate.
And
it can make or break it.
And it goes to, like, what is the line at the end of the day? It's crazy what we see just in, like, let's think about reality TV, okay? You think about Selling Sunset. From season 1 to season 2, what the fuck happened, okay? Then you think about Real Housewives, like all these different shows, you can just see the immediate
The things
change
are
overnight.
starting to go more and more and more and more. And like, when do you stop? That's the fine line.
To me, it's a very gradual process, okay? Because at the same time, one, I don't think that you should just do everything overnight, okay? Because I do think everything's proportionate.
Yeah.
And I do think understanding that you're naturally going to age.
Yeah.
Okay? So I think keeping that in mind of what is the line? Are you doing something that's just for the in trend right now and you'll regret it a few years
The
from
trendy
now?
stuff, like the threads that were happening.
The
like
thread
this.
or the what's the fat removal? on your-
Google fat removal. Oh, don't do that.
I'm like, you're gonna want that fat later on, or even like boobs. I think the size of breasts at certain points it's in to have smaller boobs. Like when we think back to like OG Victoria's Secret, which were canceled, but now they're making a comeback.
Yes.
But when you think about that era, and then you think about to now like the thoughty Instagram girls, and it's like you want the bigger now. There's just a moderation to keep in mind, because as much as you like think that you want that's why it goes to take time and realize your why to choose. Because if you're doing something just because it's in trend now, hopefully if you're actually taking that time, you'll realize that, hey, that was just part of the trend. Like, I actually really don't want this.
Don't go based off of trends. Just like, that's like my whole thing. Don't go based off of trends. Go based off of what your body anatomy looks good with. Trends go in and out. We all know that. That's why it is a trend. Do not get the biggest boobs. Do not
Completely agree. Yeah. Okay, so now I'll let you go into the being honest about plastic surgery.
You gotta be honest about it.
I have, so many things to say on this one.
I think it's so, I do remember growing up, and there was a level to like seeing all these celebrities. They look so beautiful. You're like, that is like godly sculpted. They were just born like that, God's favorite. And then you start realizing,
God's favorite?
Yeah, literally God's favorite. But then you start,
Megan Fox, God's favorite.
stunning. But then you start seeing online that there's all these articles that, oh yeah, they have done this, da da da, and you start seeing their pictures from being teenagers. Obviously, there's like a fat thing where they lose fat and stuff, but there's certain things, like certain celebrities getting thicker lips or a BBL. You can just tell like that is not godly sculpted. That is man-made. And my thing is when celebrities start having skincare lines or makeup lines and all these things, and they are profiting off of girls' insecurities.
And they're not being honest about it themselves. Like, if you are coming out, for example, with, I don't fucking know, like if you're on Ozempic and you're promoting something with Ozempic and you're honest about it, good for fucking you. I'm not going to say fucking jack shit.
You're being honest. At the end of the day, no one can call you out for anything because you are being honest.
Yeah.
But if you're like a fitness trainer and you come out with a booty sculpt guide and you have gotten a BBL or booty injections, come on.
I agree. And the thing is, this is why I struggle with this one a little bit, because I do understand that society just naturally, I'm not immune to this. Obviously, we got plastic surgery and we definitely like heard a lot from a lot of different people.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a connotation with the kind of women who get plastic surgery. Oh my God, they're so plastic. They're so materialistic. They're so insecure. Yeah. Exactly. They're so superficial, all these different things. So I get that society in itself has put a certain connotation when it comes to women and plastic surgery. But I think on the flip side of this, we're now at a point where honestly, I'm running into women, and most of my friends are probably have gotten, I'm not saying plastic, okay, we can talk about what plastic surgery all fully entails.
Yeah.
What I'm alluding to is it's something that's not natural, okay? Yeah. Something that is man-made, a product that's man-made, whatever the case is, where I think we've gone to a point where it has become so normal that to me, there's just no reason to hide it, okay? Yeah. And when we think about what social media, and I also am gonna take it a step further and say, now you're part of the problem. Because when you think about why social media has made us so insecure, and it's because people have put out this false level of perfection, where I do think it mentally makes a difference when somebody says, oh yeah, like this is me, all perfect. I lost all this weight because I just started going to the gym and started going on a walk. I don't give a fuck that you're on Ozempic. That's the part that people don't get. I don't give a fuck. just be honest about it.
Yeah.
Like, I swear.
Because then it makes you feel like you're the problem. You're like, oh, I do those things
and
and
it's like
I
a
can't
certain
lose
level.
the weight. Like,
it's an expectation of beauty that is unreachable.
Yep.
Or so it appears, because they're like, yeah, this is God's fucking favorite, clearly. But
a full set of breasts or like a full butt.
I will respect you 10 times more being the woman who got plastic surgery and is open and honest about it than the one who just does it.
You know they're not trying to make you feel bad. You know, like...
Exactly. And it's like, you're not bettering anybody by doing that. You are literally, again, you're falling into the trap of what social media does and what it does to your mental health. And that's where I'm like, now I'm kind of judging you.
Like, now you're making other women insecure and doing that same thing that celebrities do to like us normies.
Like, I don't get the point of gatekeeping. I don't get the point of any of it.
Yeah.
Just like, be open and honest, because if you were anytime something like that, like when you're gatekeeping, I want you to think about the most insecure time in your life.
Like that little girl version of you that like didn't have any of that and is now feeling shit about herself physically, mentally, emotionally. Like that takes a huge toll on a person. So like if anyone ever asked me like, yeah, girl, I got my nose dubbed, like
100%. I swear, and none of you better take this, or honestly take this idea, because I'm not going to do anything with it. But if I could live in Pam's world for a day, I would.
You do live in Pam's world, actually.
That's true. Like if I were president of the United States,
okay, I
would come out with a social media app. Let's say it's the equivalent to like TikTok or Instagram, whatever. I don't know. Haven't decided which one yet. But it would be something that before any woman signs up, you are forced to disclose, like whether it goes based off like your medical records or whatever the case is, you are forced to disclose any and all procedures, because again, you can go down the rabbit hole of like, I've gotten lasers done. It's not technically plastic surgery, but I'm sorry, again, not natural. Okay.
Not natural.
And you're still putting in that, like, yes.
Botox. Yeah.
It's all thousands of dollars. Okay. So I think that would cultivate, I would love to, I don't know if this would be better for your mental health, but at least it would be more honest. It would be an honest space in which
I think it'd be better, because at least you know, and you're not like, oh my God, like the Lord Jesus Almighty did not make me like that, you know? Mm-hmm. So, and if you know what treatments they've done and you're looking into it and you want to do that, now you know. And there's a lot of transparency. I feel like that's the problem. There's no transparency at this point. Like the whole Lindsay Lohan and Christina Aguilera. I'm like, girlies, I want to know what you're doing. You are aging.
Oh my God, Lindsay Lohan, fantastic. Truly fantastic. But I wouldn't necessarily, like, that's the thing. She's never gone on anywhere and been like, I've gotten nothing done.
I don't think she's ever really spoken about her.
That's true. Actually, why am I making shit up? The point is, she hasn't like been out here being like, yeah, this is all fucking natural and great. And it's all just basically me learning how to contour appropriately now. Like, she's not sitting out here doing that. So yeah, I do agree. Maybe like the transparency would not fix the problem, but create a slightly healthier space.
Safer space.
Yeah, safer space to have those conversations and think about it. Again, not saying it could go. Honestly, this sounds like a good social experiment. I kind of want to do it now in Pam's world when I become president of the United States. But on the flip side, I'd be interested, like whether women just go like fucking balls to the wall trying to get all these procedures done because
now they know.
Exactly. Like, would that actually be better? I don't really know. All I'm asking for is some honesty, people. Okay, I can't tell you if it's going to work or not. But
I just want to know who Lindsay Lohan's doctor is and Christina Aguilera.
Okay, if we're talking about people who did it right, you fucking did it right, okay?
Proportion, face symmetry, the balance, it is.
And yeah, and agree.
Coming from a character modeler, okay?
I'm slightly triggered by saying this out loud because I feel like this was like our father growing up with us, but like age appropriate.
Oh.
I think that's the other part. Like, you're not trying to do procedures that like the fucking huge lips or whatever. Like, it's like, yeah, maybe in your 20s.
Nothing is crazy big. Like, everything is very proportionate to them.
Yes.
It has kept their facial features. They just look rejuvenated. Yeah.
Yes, rejuvenated, enhanced. Completely agree.
So, yeah, drop the doc.
Yeah, please. Asking for me, not a friend. And, okay. And then I think another talking point I wanted to mention, which you said this earlier and I loved, which was when you're thinking about plastic surgery and seasoning. I don't know if you want to explain that because I don't want to take that from you.
Okay. I think plastic surgery. Oh, wait, what was it?
Okay, what you were explaining to me is like, this is a thing that you want to keep in mind. You don't just all want to become the plastics and look like a replica.
The same.
Exactly. Like we don't all want to be Barbie, okay? Like that's the one thing I'm going to, like we're Hispanic and I want to keep that identity.
Features in
yes.
there. So I think when people are starting to do this copy paste, that's when it starts losing its value because you're like, I've seen this person outside 10 times today. But when you have those little nuances, like the eyes fall a little bit, like that can be so beautiful because you're like, oh, that's something fresh, that's something new. So not taking away all those little nuances that actually make you you. I feel like that's very important.
I completely agree. And I really like, because I think a big thing for us.
It's seasoning. Those little nuances are seasoning. That's how it ties into the seasoning.
Oh, there you go. Okay. It gives you that extra sazon of life.
It gives the food that flavor, you know?
And I think that's something that has even kept us in check, even though it wasn't labeled as like seasoning as we were growing up. But I think anytime we've approached getting plastic surgery or doing any kind of enhancement, you've been, honestly, I'll give you all the credit because I am not, I think for me, even though I'm Hispanic, I've been trying to compete with Western beauty my whole life.
Oh yeah, that was me in high school.
And I think it goes back to, you always want what you don't have, okay? Like you have straight hair, you want curly hair, like all of these different things. So I think because obviously we grew up we were born in South America, but majority of our life was in the United States. And so I think for me, I did idolize Western beauty a lot for it.
Same. I thought I wanted to go blonde. I was like, girl.
I was like, can I change my eye color? Like, I literally was like, can I get blue eyes? Because I'm so over my brown eyes.
Same.
So I think all these different things, and this is kind of why I'm saying you need time to really understand what your why is behind plastic surgery.
Yep.
Because if you are just trying to become this whole fucking different person, then there's something wrong, okay?
Yeah,
you're not doing it.
That stems from like a deep root of like, you don't even like yourself.
Exactly.
Like I did it because I like myself. I think I'm cute as shit. You know?
I'm just trying to enhance specific
what I
things.
already have. Exactly. Because I know the power of little adjustments. So like even with my nose, it was shaving off a little bit here. Like it wasn't anything so drastic that when like everything was healed, my friends were like, oh my God, you look like a different, like that was not the situation. Everyone was like, oh, you got a nose job? What the fuck?
100%.
Yeah.
And I will say, sorry, this is like actually very fucking triggering when it comes to like women and plastic surgery. I think a lot of times, I definitely think it's important to kind of like out yourself with which we're going to do. Okay. Out yourself with what surgeries and what procedures you've done. But no, I really do want to talk about your nose story though. But I distinctly remember there's actually like a specific scenario that happened to me not that long ago where, again, back in college or back in high school, one, I didn't really love high school at all. Two, I probably had like 30 pounds on me. Just, I looked very different. Okay. I was very unhealthy, all these different things. And we actually ended up going, you were there. We ended up going to a party and I ran into somebody from my high school, which I had never spoken to in high school. Okay. We were not friends. We were not anything. We show up and this girl doesn't stop staring me down. And I literally,
It's weird.
No, it was.
I'm starting to stare at her. I was like, if you don't get your eyes on my sister, I don't punch you.
It was fucking uncomfortable to the point where she didn't even address me. I literally had run into because my husband also went to we all went to the same high school. And I was like, oh, did you run into so-and-so? And he's like, oh, yeah. And she's like, she said hi. I'm like, okay, well, she didn't. Again, I never had spoken to her, so didn't expect a hello. But as the night progresses, she just keeps fucking staring at me. And I'm like, now I'm getting uncomfortable. So I literally have like you and my other friend, like as backup, like just staring them fucking down. And our other friend, she gives the scariest death stare.
Yeah, she do be intimidating.
So if she's in my corner, I'm like, I feel fucking sick. Yeah, I can't even look at her when she's doing it because I'm like, I'm so intimidated. But then finally, I end up seeing her talking to a few of my other really good friends. And I was like, oh, didn't know they knew each other, whatever. So then I go over eventually and like sit on the very opposite end. And my friend starts telling me, and she's like, do you know this girl? And I was like, well, I mean, not really. I've never spoken to her, but we went to the same high school. And she's like, oh my God, she literally just sat down here. And she's like, wait, that girl Pam, do you guys know her? And they're like, yeah. Like they all laughed because we're literally all best friends. Like they were my bridesmaids. And they're like, I just can't believe how much work she's gotten done since high school. And I was like...
Don't be that girl.
You're fucking lucky I'm sober as shit right now because I'm driving us home.
Don't be that girl either. If you're talking smack and gossiping about it either, like, oh,
Like, if a girl is pretty, allow her to just be fucking pretty. You don't need to be like, she's pretty, but she got this, and this done. Because honestly, I'm sorry, but
It
when
says
I'm
more
seeing,
about you.
exactly, you're just being insecure about this. Because at the end of the day, so fucking what? People don't know your backstory or your fucking laundry list of what you got done. If you're beautiful and you walk into a space and people are noticing, allow that for them.
and who wants to talk about that?
Exactly. And also,
I'd be
fuck
like,
you.
yeah, she looks good.
Agree. Yeah. And also, but like, again, fuck you because I'm the first person
Don't be that girl turning.
to be honest. But it's like, no, I have not gotten that much done. Okay.
got
A
your
lot of
lips,
this was
boobs.
like, got my lip. Yes, I've gotten Botox done. I've gotten my lips done. I've gotten my boobs done. I'm sure this list will continue to, not sure, but maybe this list will continue to go on. And
Some
I will be honest.
microneedling and stuff
Oh
like that.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna get laser. And this list will continue to go on, and if it does, I will be honest about it. Like,
Yeah.
so fucking what?
It's hilarious because even your friends were saying, yeah, she hasn't really done anything.
Like, out of all of us,
Yeah, they were the ones that had done the most. They're like, Pam hasn't done that much. So just don't be that girl.
and also just keep my fucking name out of your mouth, okay? I'm just gonna be honest. If it's not a compliment, shut the fuck up, okay?
Literally. Like, you just want to open your mouth to shit on people. Just keep it closed. Say nothing at all.
Completely agree. Okay, and then what else? I think very quickly, we just want to like be fully honest because we're gonna compare a nose job to a breast augmentation right now.
Yeah.
I think very quickly taking care of each other because my God, the people don't prepare you. I guess people do, but I just don't listen. The whole recovery process behind it, like you have to take so many fucking medications every fucking 8 hours. And it's just all a lot. Okay. But through this process, we definitely learned going through it together. I mean, not at the same time, but together, that breast augmentation is by far a smooth ass recovery process compared to a nose job.
Walking the next day. I was walking on over to the kitchen, doing my little thing, da-da-da. The nose job.
You were a fucking monster.
I was a monster. I think I was high for 3 days. I was in no pain. Like, I will say that. I was in absolutely no pain.
You're just like this
I
uncomfortable.
was disassociated.
That's true.
Definitely the medication made me high. So I was definitely in La La Land for like 3 days. And then
and then
this was the kicker. I got nauseous like the second, third day or something like that. I got really nauseous because I was taking a lot of medication. You know, you got to be taking probiotics and yogurt to like coat that stomach because then the medication goes in and then you just get nauseous. So then I remember I have this whole cast thing. They put 2 things up your nose and then like my mouth is sealed up to here. And then I was also having the runs, if you know what I mean. So literally at one point, I'm breathing through my mouth at this point. But then even that hole, I couldn't breathe out of because I started throwing up. So I'm having the runs. My nose is
so you're actually
clogged
suffocating.
up. Yeah, I'm literally suffocating as I'm like, I can't breathe. So I'm going to pass out because I can't breathe. And then that was my antibiotic. And you know you have to take all your antibiotics for it to work. So I lost my antibiotic because I threw it up. So
all that to be said, it was a rough process. Oh, and then on top of the
coming
fact,
out of every orifice, and I wanted to die.
no, but then the very first night that so bad. The very first night of her surgery, she's asleep.
Yes.
You literally weren't awake for the first 24 hours. But as she's sleeping, my mom calls me over. She's like, I'm not trying to freak her out. I'm not trying to freak you out, but because they put a cast on you.
Yeah.
Does her cast look crooked to you?
Bro.
And then I immediately turn over. I'm literally the least like symmetrical fucking person. Like I just don't notice the shit.
Yeah, you're
I
very,
looked
like,
over
nonchalant.
and I'm like, holy fucking shit, it's crooked as shit. So the panic that starts happening between the two of us, we're like, holy fuck, what do we do? Like she literally is down like fucking 10K on this. Like what the fuck do we do? So like immediately after, I text the doctor a photo and I'm like, is this okay? I think it's crooked. And like immediately responds back. He's like, no, it's fine. Like that's normal, yada, yada. So then she wakes up maybe like 30 minutes later, and somehow you caught yourself in the mirror and you look at
literally-
yourself like as you're on like high on drugs, you look at yourself in the mirror and you're like, guys,
no. Give me, this is my time to shine. Okay.
this is my nose.
Yeah, this is my story. So I remember waking up. I feel very high. I'm like, I literally feel like I was walking to the bathroom on a cloud. You know, like those little angels that walk like that? That's how it felt. I go into the mirror and I'm like, that doesn't look right. That doesn't look right. And then I remember calling my sister and my mom over. I was like, you guys, do you think that looks kind of crooked? And then both of you are like, no, not at all. The gaslighting. I was like,
Gaslighting 101, baby.
I was like, you guys, this is literally my job, proportions and like symmetry and shit. I was like, no, that looks a little crooked. And then you guys were like, no, not at all.
And then we tucked you into bed and you were fine.
I knocked out for another 24 hours. And then you guys told me what was going on. But
yeah, because we had to go to your follow-up appointment. So then literally on the way, we're like, by the way, like, yes, it was definitely crooked.
and I was like, I knew it. Even on cloud 9, I knew it.
So I know we talked a lot about just our own personal journey, and we're going to finish with the last segment, which is we're going to run through a few quick hot takes.
Okay.
Which is really just two. Okay. Number 1, do men truly enjoy a fully natural woman?
No, bitch. Yeah, don't lie. Don't lie, Marcos. I know you're lying. Oh, you love her natural beauty, her poreless skin. Yeah, she literally used an anti-pore like fucking cream before putting on her makeup. It's so funny because when I talk to guys on FaceTime, I'll obviously everything is planned. Everything that you see what I want you to see, okay? I will put up the phone in the most perfect lighting that I have in the apartment. I'll have had a little concealer, curl my eyelashes. It looks natural. But then they make comments, you're just so naturally beautiful. Like you literally, the way the sun hits your skin. And I'm like, I know.
I am truly blessed. Okay, so I guess that's another thing we should be honest about. Be honest with the fucking girly pops out there about what you've gotten done. With the men, shut the fuck up.
No, yeah, you can take that shit to the grave. They don't need to know. They don't
care.
Understand. Yeah, they literally don't understand.
Unless, okay, so I do agree. So on this one, I'm going to say, I don't think a man fully loves a natural woman, okay?
No.
Or I think it's almost like you think that you do, but then once they like do get something, you're like, oh, that looks great, you know? So it's like, I think until you experience like a fully, as close as you can get to perfection, then like, I think you're lying.
I think men have now had this negative connotation to women that are so plastic that's what they think about when they think about plastic surgery.
So that's why there is, but again, there's a line and a balance.
Exactly.
Like there's a yin and a yang to this, okay?
Yes.
Like there are things that, yes, I think you should put your money towards. And then there's others that like, guys, like it's just not like, keep the seasoning, you know?
Yeah.
So I definitely agree. Like I think you probably have crossed the line when your guy is just like telling you you've gotten too much done. Like you need a...
Once the guy starts,
you need to put the credit card down.
The guys barely notice you doing your hair, you know, but that's when you know. Yeah.
Yes, completely agree. Okay,
so yeah, I don't think they love an all natural woman.
Guys, want to hear your thoughts? Let us know. If
I've been complimented
talking out of our ass
on my lip color, and I'm like, thank you so much. That was a lip stain. Thank you so much. It lasts 10 plus hours.
But then that's the other thing. Okay, sorry. I'm literally going all over the place, but because you said the lip stain, there are certain procedures that I think is totally, like I've done micro shading on my eyebrows.
Yeah. Changed. Oh my God.
It really changed
you
my
guys,
face.
it changed her
I had
eyebrows.
fucking caterpillar.
No. That is my word that I've always called. Caterpillars. You know, like the fuzzy ones? Like that was 2 right there. She would just look at me like that.
No shape, no nothing.
Changed the windows to your soul. Okay. Changed. Yes.
But I think certain things like that, or like the lip tint to your, like things that just like last a while and like also decrease the time for you to get ready. I think those things.
High maintenance to be low maintenance. It's like the nails.
Yes. You know? Like things like nails are like the most fucking high maintenance thing I do. And it's really fucking killing my soul. But I think certain things like that. But then there's other things like getting your like eyelashes. To me, I actually did go through maybe a few weeks or rounds of getting my eyelashes done. But there's certain things like that. Like, it's like you're killing your own eyelash. You might get a fucking infection. Like, it's just like there's too much with it that it's too high maintenance. Because this is the other part. If God forbid I were to just go broke tomorrow, I still want to be a pretty girl. Okay.
I don't want to be ugly.
So whatever I could do, like, I'm still going to have my fucking eyebrows done. Okay. I still think I'm going to be pretty because I've done things that are pretty low maintenance. Okay.
And they're like long lasting. I think when I thought about, I even thought about a liquid rhinoplasty before actually going to a rhinoplasty. Yeah, that'll make your nose fatter over time. But it's those upkeep things that you would have to do every so often. Like, that's too much. I like investing in things that I know are going to be long term. And with the eyelashes, I knew that if I did eyelashes every month, like when they start falling off, I was going to start not liking how I looked because I was so accustomed to waking up with these like butterflies. So things like that, I've never crossed the line because I don't want to start not liking myself, because I like myself now with my normal lashes.
I think I'm perfect.
No, I don't think I'm perfect. But like, I do like how I look now. And I know if I went down that rabbit hole, I would start missing them. I don't want to start doing those type of things to my self-perception, because if I love how I look now, I don't want to ruin that by going down that rabbit hole.
Definitely agree. And I think, again, I know we're talking about plastic surgery, but I think even just exactly to what you said, like even just like makeup and all these different things, like I think the way I approach makeup, I mean, I don't, number one, you approach makeup for me, but even the way I do it, I think it's just in my day to day, I don't use a lot because I always would rather be the girl that shows up one day with her makeup done up and they're like, oh, you look so nice. Not the inverse of I show up every day with my makeup done and then one day I don't and they're like, oh, you look tired or you look sick or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, and social media, same thing. Like, I'd rather be the girl that looks prettier in person than I do in a photo.
Ooh, I agree with that. I feel like,
I know we're digressing a lot, but
I feel with the makeup thing, it's been a trend thing over time. Like,
to go back to more natural.
Yes, the whole clean girl aesthetic. And I really love that. Especially when COVID started and people were forced to stay at home. Skincare became more of a thing on TikTok. So everyone was taking care of the skin. No one was going out. So everyone was saving money on makeup and not doing that whole thing. I think COVID even showed me that I don't have to use concealer every day or all these things. So grateful for that. And that's, yeah.
100%. We definitely digress on this one, but one very last one. So nobody's more critical of another woman's body than other women. I think all the examples we fucking talked about today just prove this.
Yeah.
Like, that's not a hot take. That's a fact.
I agree. I think men,
like,
they'll see a naked woman and they're like, oh, a naked woman. I love it.
But it's not even, before you even get to the fucking clothes off, you think about Instagram. A guy sees a beautiful woman on Instagram, they're like, oh, she's hot. We keep on moving.
Yeah.
A girl sees another hot girl on Instagram, and they're like, oh, she probably got filler done. She probably got this done. Her waist is not thin enough.
It's definitely edited.
You're thinking about you're doing all the different things on Photoshop, whatever. Like, we are so
highly critical.
And I think I would like to say that I don't do that. I think that would be a false statement. But I definitely think I'm at a point where I don't really do that as much, because I think
affect you.
It doesn't affect my mental health, because I think when I think back to the times that it did, where I like felt like it was necessary to like be overly critical of like what the women I saw on social media, it stemmed from the fact that I was not happy with myself. And now that I think, and like, I'm not saying this from a place of cockiness, because if you know me, I am like truly the least cocky person.
Yeah.
I'm just comfortable with myself now. Like, I think before it was I was very uncomfortable.
I think very relatable thing, and also an early 20s thing. I feel as though when you get into your 20s, you are insecure. You're going through all these, you don't know yourself very well. I'm not in my 30s yet, but I feel like my mentality is much more at 30 at this point, in that sense, where I'm not looking at every girl on the street and being like, oh, I need that. Da, da, da. Like, I'm very happy with myself. And I feel that's something that comes with age, and not comparing as much and not listening to all the noise as much, because especially with social media nowadays, it's really hard. I can't imagine growing up in the thick of social media.
I
I
agree.
had Instagram like junior year of high school. That's late. Kids
Completely
are
agree.
starting
I'd
middle
much
school.
rather have you as a Gen Z to explain Gen Z things to me than actually be one. I don't know.
That's next level. Yeah.
Truly, because I think there's just such an emphasis played or put on that aspect of reality now, where I feel as though I see so many women, even like just the simple concept of like people become so obsessed with it that they go into debt trying to pay for all these different fucking plastic surgery procedures or whatever the case, instead of, and I think this mentality has really stuck with me of, if you have $1,000, are you going to put it towards the cosmetic procedure, or are you going to put it into like some sort of like health and wellness, or pay for therapy or things that are actually going to like long term help you?
Yep.
So all is to be said for the girly pops out there. Just, I'm going to challenge you to do just, I'm not saying that it's going to go away overnight, but just going to challenge you to just be a little bit kinder to yourself, so you can be a little bit kinder to others, okay, when it comes to this aspect, because it's a slippery slope and it's a lot. And I'm not
Everyone's
saying
trying to figure it out.
you're not less
and
of a nice person because you do these things.
Yeah.
But I do think of just being a little bit self-aware of why are you doing these things, and just answering more of the hard questions when it comes to this, when it comes to plastic surgery, I think will go a long way.
Do what feels right for you. Think it through. Do your research.
Your research.
Don't change the key ingredients
Of
the
what makes you
seasoning.
you.
Yeah, keep your nuances. I know we went everywhere and anywhere today, so I hope you enjoyed that.
Bye, guys. See you next week.
Bye.